everybody. My name is Lenora Collins with Let's Connect. Thank you so much for joining us today. You're either watching, and there goes Fernando saying hello to the people because he really loves when we get on live. So today, coming to us live from Minnesota is Miss Kim. Thank you so much for being on the interview today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you.
Me too. So Kim, could you please tell the viewers and listeners kind of a little bit about yourself, what you do in your business?
Sure. So my name is Kim Flatland, and my business is Love Your Soul Self. And I have been coaching women and doing intention setting workshops probably for the last 5 to 6 years. And through that have really impacted hundreds of women's lives and have kind of branched into some products and some co-authoring of books and just really loving helping people step into what their soul is really desiring them to do.
Oh, I'm just so honored to have you here. Thank you all the way from Minnesota. What time is it in Minnesota?
It's 7 p.m. Yeah.
Okay, so it's 6 o'clock here. So it's 5 after 7 in Minnesota. Woo! Like, this is so exciting. Like, seriously, 2 Yankees in one day. Like, I'm so happy. I've had Texas and Minnesota, right? Like, this little Canadian girl here is just, her bucket is getting filled.
Well, one of the funny things is that I actually grew up next to the Canadian border. So I live in the Twin Cities now, but I grew up in a really tiny town called Greenbush, and we had to get to the border by Baudette or Warroad, Minnesota. And so did spend some time in Winnipeg growing up.
Okay, Winnipeg's really cold. I've been to Winnipeg once.
Yes.
That's like 10-hour drive from where we're at.
Yeah.
So, Miss Kim, I'm going to start out and just ask you, if you could start a conversation about anything in this world, what would you like to talk about?
Ooh, that's a good one, because when I get together with my girlfriends, we love to have some conversations over a glass of wine or just kind of catch up. And oftentimes I'm always asking, what's going on in your life and how can I support you? Because I love to hear what people are passionately doing or the obstacles that they're encountering and see if we can come up with some fun solutions to work through it. So,
oh, that's so amazing. Now, I'm going to just kind of go off but go off my heart a little bit and ask you, you do that for everybody else. What do you do for yourself to make sure that you're being looked after and you're taking care of you?
Oh my gosh. So with my work being called Love Your Soul Self, generally we tend to do work that we need the most, right? So over the past 10 years, I've really come to develop some great routines and I guess some stopping points where I realize when I need more self-care or soul love. And so every morning, my routine kind of consists of getting up and just lying in bed for probably 5 to 10 minutes and kind of setting my intention for the day. So like starting it off on a really positive foot. Like, what am I going to do? How am I going to feel? And then I pop out of my bed, get myself a cup of warm tea and pop back in and start journaling a bit.
Awesome.
And I'll just journal whatever comes to me, like free journaling or, some divine inspiration. Or I might journal like some things that I actually want to accomplish in the day. And then that really helps me start my day off pretty well. And then throughout the day, I tend to take some frequent breaks. So maybe 5 or 10 minutes here or there where I'll just walk away from whatever I'm doing in the hustle bustle and just sit and be. So, or it might even be walk outside and get some fresh air. So those are
Kim, I love you.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely freaking love you. Like, you just described everything that I do in my day when I get kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
Stop, walk away. Like, hallelujah that it's like, this is reiterating to me what I need to hear is what I'm saying. So thank you so, so much.
I love that because you know what? It's like a nice mirror back, but it's also a nice reminder that it doesn't have to be big, large, and grand to shift things,
I do, right? Like seriously, getting up, shutting down your computer or your phone, like powering it down, and even like sometimes just walking out to the front step, right? Like I do that sometimes, and I just take a big breath and just, and then I come back in, and it's like a totally different energy source field. Like you just, there's just different ways about yourself that you can really connect with.
Love it.
Yay. So do you have, I want to ask you for support groups, like, do you have a support group that you go to, or what would you recommend for the people watching and listening at home or in their cars or whatnot? Where would you go if you're kind of feeling that you are in need of support? Like, do you host some support groups, or what do you do? Where do you go for support?
Sure. So I have to tell you that I really go to probably a few key girlfriends, and maybe even an outside source that's kind of more like a life coach, intuitive person. And those people are there kind of no matter what. So it's kind of that safe place. Now, some people have like a big group of friends and they call on everybody. I tend to hold my friendships really close to my heart. And I know who I can share my stuff with. When I need just a listening ear. I know who I can share my stuff with when I need like to take action. I know who I can share my stuff with when they're going to be like, oh my God, girl, get it together. You are not, that's not the way it is. Like you're
When
seeing
you
it
need
wrong.
like
Yes.
Right.
So I would suggest kind of honing in on 3 to 4 specific people in your life. Maybe one of them, somebody that you actually do pay or, seek professional type of guidance from, and the rest are friends. I tend not to turn to family members all the time for that type of stuff because I feel like sometimes it kind of mixes the boundaries. And sometimes I just want an objective ear, and I don't want everybody to know everything in my, family wise.
What great advice. So people, I hope you wrote that down because you know what, get out your notebooks, listen to the replay because Miss Kim is like, I'm going to be going back and taking notes, girlfriends. Like there are so many tidbits of information that you're sharing. Hang on just a second. Fernando Collins is my puppy. Every time I get on a live call, he decides to want. So meet Miss Kim.
Oh, he's adorable. He's adorable. And then as one of my business services, I do offer insight calls to people. So that's just a call where people can kind of call me and I can coach them through whatever it is they want insight on for business or life. So
Awesome.
After I've settled myself for the last few years, I've found the capabilities to give back to others in that.
That's amazing.
Well.
And that really, you love what you do. Like I can feel it, I can see it, hear it, and you're very knowledgeable. And all these tips are, people need to be writing these down and remembering that it doesn't need to be so big. You kind of go at it and take 2 things tomorrow. So get up tomorrow morning and you don't need to remember all 10. Just do 2. Right? Like just do 2 and use a minute. Like, and if anybody tells me that they don't have a minute, I would say, yeah, what the shell? Yes, you do. You find 1 minute, right?
I mean, you even have a minute driving in the car, standing in the shower.
That's right.
Walking to get your coffee. You've got a minute to focus. Yes.
So my next question, I was going to ask you, what actions do you take every day to ensure that you're doing that? But it sounds to me like you take inspired action. You already you plan and it's a choice and it's not always easy and it's not always like, butterflies and rainbows. Like sometimes you're having a hard day, but you know where to go to get that support.
Actually, that is the truth, right? I mean, just because we may come across to others as always being positive and uplifting, that doesn't mean we're not going through life doing this, getting the same peaks and valleys that other people do. It just might mean that I'm able to pull out my resource book and shift myself a little bit more quickly than others. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes I lay in bed and do nothing until I can shift myself or listen to a meditation or pull myself out of the funk by something, So I think I've kind of got that down, but it does take purposeful action on my part to do that every day. So.
Awesome. Now, Miss Kim, where do you see yourself next month?
Next month is a new year. And I I have a group called A Year of You. So next month, I am really looking at ramping up the opportunities that I'm providing for that group. It's just a Facebook group that's, no membership or anything, but really inspiring people to step further into that mindset of self-care and self-love, because it isn't just all about bubble baths and eating healthy, although it can be, but
Amen.
It's really, right?
Amen,
It's
sister.
really...
What was the name of the group again? I'm writing this down.
Oh, A Year of You.
A Year of You. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So every day it's kind of about trying to step deeper into that self-love, self-worth component so that we can shine brighter for what we're here to do, really. Whether
so you're
it's,
going to be planning and like kind of deciding each month what your topics are and sort of each day, because that's a huge undertaking. How far in advance do you set like the group? Because I know sometimes you have to leave room for just regular life stuff. How far in advance would you suggest to kind of pre-plan some things?
So I kind of loosely have like weekly topics and ideas, and then I actually do a lot by kind of feeling like what the energy of the world is going on, what's happening in people in the group's lives. If I hear things, what's happening in my life, because I feel like sometimes my daily life experiences are what other people could be experiencing. So I want to be really authentic and share what comes to me in the moment. So I don't do a big, long, lots of planning in advance, which is really good for some people. But for me, it's more that spontaneous, what do we need to hear right now? What's happening right now? So
what's on your heart, kind of what's like, you could be talking about gratitude all week, and on Tuesday you're like, okay, people, you need to be grateful for the people in front of line of you in the coffee place because they stopped you from getting into an accident like 10 miles down the road, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So those real life connections kind of in real time,
Oh, you're my kind of girl. I'm so happy that you found our interview series. I'm so glad that we've reached somebody all the way to Minnesota. Like, seriously, that fills my bucket, that I wanted to start having conversations with people that people didn't want to have. And I was like, okay, I'll have them. Like, yeah, let's go. Let's bring it, right? Because we as women, as human beings, we need the support, and we're not alone. And listen here, like, let's use the internet for some good things, and this is what is happening from it, right? Like, oh my god, I'm so excited. A year with you, like, that's friggin' amazing. Like, I'm so excited. And you're gonna have so many Canadians in your group now that you're not even gonna know what to do with yourself.
Oh, Lenora, I love that you've totally embraced something that fills your heart up, so that you're able to help us all make that ripple effect,
Absolutely. And don't let me kid you, because sometimes I have like shit days too. However, I really am good now at getting out of it quickly. So I'll have a funk and I literally set my phone for like 10 minutes and I can have a little pity party, feel sorry for myself, whatever I need to do, like, oh, woe is me, and the word, blah, blah. And then I'm like, I literally set the timer and I'm like, okay, that's enough now. And I get up and I shut everything down, and then I go outside, or I journal, or I meditate, or I pray, or I do a lot of things, but I just choose one or two. So what I'm trying to say is that I have poopy days just like everyone else does. So it's not just because everyone's like, how come you're so happy all the time? And I'm like, honestly, because I could be dead in 10 minutes, and I really want this time right now. I want to be present and I want to be here. And some people don't like that, and it used to bother me. And now I just think, you know what, that's okay, because you're not my people. And it's really, I send you love and it's all good. Where I used to lose sleep over that kind of stuff. And now I'm like, yeah, what else, dude? Like, really, it's okay. It's okay. And there's no right or wrong. Do whatever works for you. It's like having a baby. When you grow a baby, everybody is like, oh, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to do this. At the end of the day, you have to do what's right for you, because if you don't, guess what? You're the only one that suffers, right? So,
oh my God, that's totally my love your soul self work. I mean, honestly, you're totally stepping into that. When you are totally like, okay, if I'm not for you, I'm not for you. You're like totally embracing who you are, your worthiness, and all that you're here to do. Yay, I love it. And I'm going to take that tip about setting a reminder for, 5 or 10,
I would love
5 or 10 minutes.
Share away. Like we can collaborate offline, and like I'd love to have you as a guest speaker in one of the groups that I run, because I think it's so important for women, especially. Like I love men. I've had a career, meaning I'm happily married of 17 years and have 2 boys. But when I say that I love men, I've had a professional career for 20 years in oil and gas, and I love working with men, because men were like, if I pissed somebody off that day, they'd be like, you know what, Lenora, you pissed me off. And I'd be like, okay, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. And we'd talk about it, and then it would be over. With women, oh my goodness gracious. During my younger years, I never really had that experience of positiveness. I've had it now that I'm an adult and that I control. I'm working on this too. So I'm a very, not controlling, but I think I'm responsible for my own environment, and I choose to own my responsibility. Like I own who surrounds me. And if I know that somebody's around me that's kind of not too good, it's not their fault. I accept responsibility for that, because I know that I'm putting myself in a bad situation. Right. So,
ooh, I like that. I like that.
So I'm trying to I'm working on that, because I know I'm like, the whole word control really bothers me, because when I say control, I think of somebody that's like, you have to do this and you have to do that. And it's not about that. It's just owning my own control of me, like nobody else. Like you can do whatever you need to do, but in order to control myself, there's certain checks and balances that I have in place, right?
Yeah, I think, it's really good to set our own personal boundaries and to stand tall with those. And at times there may be, we may have the ability to flex them at time if it feels right. And there's other times where we can keep them very strong in place and just be comfortable with what we've decided on.
And I, honest to Christmas, believe that people come into your life who you are either meant to learn from, or they're meant to learn from you. So it's like an ebb and a flow. So I feel so grateful and so fortunate that you took the chance on me to kind of say, hey, Lenora, I'll do this interview, because we've never met before. Like for people that are watching and listening and taking their notes about Miss Kim, like, and I can't wait to get to know her more. Like, holy Christmas, I know that the viewers out there hearing some of the things that you're saying and listening to you, like, are getting so many positive, good tips, but it's real life tips. And that, to me, hands down, by far, the proof is in the pudding. You attract what you put out there. So you just reiterated that to me. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm not done with you yet. I just wanted to, that was on my heart. So see,
Woo, thank you.
I needed to tell you.
Yay.
Now I'm going to ask you, what are your hobbies?
Oh, I am an avid reader. I love to read. I love to play around with oils, like essential oils, and kind of create different blends in my little diffuser. I also, I call meeting my girlfriends a hobby, because I want to do it on a pretty regular basis.
What's your favorite book? Before I forget.
Oh, you know what? I have to tell you, my latest read is Women Who Inspire. I'm a co-author in that book with 20 other women. And it's talking about all these inspiring stories that these women have gone through, and they're sharing it out in the world. They're like stepping in and being brave enough to share their deep, life-changing stories. So that's really my favorite book right now.
Well, I would like to be on the signed author list for that. So we could maybe share that in our book club group, because one of our one of our ladies, she hosts, she's in New York, and she's part of our business program, and she's a successful published author herself. She's got 25 years experience, and book club for health coaches and just people in general, giving you tips and tricks. And she's a beautiful, beautiful person. And we've all been connected here in this world to make a difference and to step up and stand out, right? So congratulations to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Otherwise, there's so many wonderful books in the world. I can't just choose one, honestly.
Yeah, I know. There's so many.
I have so many on my bookshelf.
Now, Miss Kim, what makes you unique?
Oh, what makes me unique? Wow, I don't even know if anyone's ever asked me that question before. All right, so let me just see what makes me unique. Well, I have been in healthcare for 20 some years. So I've got a foundation of seeing people at their extreme worst. And I feel like I literally can help breathe life back into them, whether it's through my words or my healthcare profession. I am extremely intuitive or kind of connected, I feel like, to the other side. So I'm constantly finding feathers or signs from loved ones, whoever, whatever you believe in, which is really super fun because that hasn't the way it's always been. So I love that. I have 2 children, and I'm a grandma. So I'm a fairly young grandma, but I love every minute of it.
You're a grandma. You're the best grandma I've seen today.
Yeah. So that's kind of unique, I guess. Let me see what else is unique. I just love words and putting affirmations together. I call them soul formation, so affirmations for your soul. And you know what? I'm a small town girl. I grew up in a town of like about 900 to 1,000, and I live in a big city now. But my roots are still back to the small town connection and community, and that's kind of where you'll always find me. Making my interactions, kind of like creating those small little communities. So, yeah.
How beautiful is that? Well, I'd like to thank you on behalf of myself and all the people watching and listening. Thank you so much for taking your time today to share such beautiful tips with us. And I'm just so flippin' excited that we got to do this interview and that we got to connect. And, you know, I can see like just my mind and my brain, I'm going to be journaling like a fiend between these 2 calls that I've just been on today. Like seriously, you girls, you women are just like filling my bucket with so much stuff. And I'm so excited to collaborate and to share this and to get people over to your site. So where do people, if they want to find you, Kim, where do they go? Can you just tell us again?
Sure. You can find me at loveyoursoulself.com. You can find me on Facebook at Love Your Soul Self. So it's LOVEYOURSOULSELF. I do have that private Facebook group that is just for women talking about self-care, self-love, more, like I said, not just the superficial, but a little bit deeper. And that's called A Year of You. And you can kind of link me from there everywhere. And before we're done, do you mind if I just give you a little gift back for having me on here?
Sure.
I have my card deck here, and I would love to draw a card for you.
Yay!
Yeah.
Like seriously, I'll show you something before you do that. Look, I have like these are only like just some of mine.
Oh, you got some good ones there.
So I'm totally picking up what you're putting down, sister. Like totally. The little open polka dot door.
So I'm gonna pull one message for you and one for your viewers, just as a thank you for letting me spend time in your space today. I created these cards probably about 2 years ago now, and I just love them. So here's your card, is compassion. And it says, so there's an intention word, compassion, and then the affirmation is, I move with grace and compassion for myself today, not demanding perfection. Isn't that great?
That's amazing. Can you screenshot that and send it to me after? I'm going to print it.
Absolutely.
And put it up on my vision board that I have kind of going here.
And that it says, slow down your pace and allow all to be okay. That's your action.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that one. I'm always like, but I love that, right? Because I'm just like energy and I just love it.
I can tell you're full of life. Yeah. And then the one for all of your viewers tonight is open. I'm open to new possibilities, which I totally love because they're probably watching this broadcast and your other ones. And therefore they're getting all these new ideas so they can be open to the new possibilities.
Oh, that's amazing.
And then the action is venture to a new location or event and explore. So
they're exploring this group. Like, thank you, universe.
Yes.
Thank you. You could not have been more divine with the messages and with what's coming through. And seriously, I'll be looking up how far Minnesota and Canada is. Like, I don't know how many miles I go in kilometers, you go in miles. So I can speak Yankee though, because I have no offense to Yankees, because I have Yankee family, USA people. I don't know, Americans. Like, I'm Canadian, but I've got Americans that are like near and dear to my heart family, my uncle and aunt and cousins. So I can do the conversion thing quite okay.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, you never know. It's just really a good message. You never know who you're going to connect to in the world. And I am so blessed to have found you today. And hopefully, yes, I would love to connect outside of here, because Canada visitation is looking forward to it in the next year. So,
well, you always have a place here, girlfriend. I welcome like women, husbands, dogs, cats, anything goes in my home. And it's very like, I'm Italian, so it's very hospitable. My husband's a newfie. So it works, right? And I've got two kids that are like ginormous. My kids are 15 and 11, and one is 6'1", and one is like 5'8". So, and I'm 5'2", yeah. So I'm short, and then my husband's 6'4". So there's quite a diverse. So I always welcome in women, because I'm surrounded by dudes, even the dogs. Cat and I. So Luna, you'll see her a lot on my page, and Luna's my cat, and that's the only girl that kind of is in my realm with me. So thank you so much, Miss Kim, for taking that chance on me, not knowing me, and coming into the show and coming on to the show and offering the viewers so many beautiful tips. And please add me to your Facebook group, and I look forward to speaking to you offline to get collaborating, and you never know where this is going to lead us, right? So that's a message to you guys watching and listening. Take a chance on yourself. Believe in you, because you know what? You never, ever know. Like, if we would have canceled and been like, oh, we're not doing this, then we wouldn't have had this beautiful time together. So I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful evening.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.